You are a multifaceted artist. It's hard to imagine anyone who has done so many things as you have. You are an actor, of course. You're a writer. You're a filmmaker, of course. A lyricist, choreographer, singer, director. Is there anything else that you have not done?
Because of my work schedule, I stopped seeking more gurus. I think my avarice stopped me from learning. Avarice for money, I think. Otherwise, I would have learned more.
Avarice for money, did you
Money,
say?
yes. Because affluence is what you dream of in your 20s and teens. And so I pursued that path for quite some time at peril to my art. So then I woke up and started my own company. Fortunately, I did that before I became 30. So it was a risky thing to do, not by precedence. It was not the right thing to do, but I thought I'll set my precedent at least.
Well, that's extremely brutally honest of you to say that you were chasing money. And I know everyone chases money, but no one actually says it or admits it. I like money. I want it to come to me. I don't want to chase it. So that means I'll get only what I deserve. Right, of course.
So I'm happy with that.
Right. You started acting as a child actor at the age of 6.
I'm a child of cinema. Actually, my film came out and my national award came to me when I was 5.5.
Yes.
So I joined when I was 3.
Wow. It was called Kalatur Kannama. In 1960.
My school was AVM Productions.
Okay. So, look at it this way. You have been in the film industry for 64 years, I think, or so, 62 years or so. 65 years. The Indian film industry is 120 years old. You have occupied more than half of Indian cinema's life. You look back upon it and then you say, wow, I have achieved so much. And do you sometimes feel like patting yourself on the back and saying, Kamal Hassan, you have done great. You have not done too badly.
I didn't do any of it. It was done to me by my gurus, by my fans. Everything came to me.
No, you're being modest.
No. See, certain times you feel very arrogant, especially at 20. You want to compare, look around and say, am I tuck your tummy and puff your chest and say, looks like I'm the strongest man here. But that is not a permanent state. It's like I thought I won't be this poor all the time. I'll be very rich. That attitude that'll apply to any poor man, I think. Poverty is not a permanent stage. And reaching a goal is not a permanent state, because my favorite writer, Jayakantan, says, once you climb the Everest, don't stay on top. Because there is no place. And then you'll cling on to it and won't let anyone else climb it.
And then it gets lonely at the top. It gets also very lonely at the top.
Lonely at the top for no reason at all. And you become eccentric, literally, because you're not in the center of people.
Did you ever feel like that yourself?
That's one of the reasons why my fan club turned into a welfare association, because I'm not with the people. People, the beauty of cinema is that you can reach a larger demography. But it also takes you away from the actual witnessing of your applause.
True.
So you distance yourself and arrogance sets in because you think you don't hear criticism, nor do you hear applause. It all comes through reporting to us. Or when you meet your fans and they cheer you, but that's not the actual data.
So how did you manage to keep yourself on the ground, with your feet on the ground?
Very difficult, because they're always trying to
tease you and
carry you aloft. Won't let your feet touch the ground. So that's when I realized, I think it will apply for most artists. Even Rahman says things like that, because he was very happy and he didn't want to be complacent. And he made his decision even 3-4 years earlier than I did.
So when you reach that kind of stature, that kind of achievement, do you sometimes feel that because of the adulation or the false adulation that people around you shower on you, does that affect your art, that your performance starts getting affected?
Yes, it's good to play to the gallery, but you lose the frontline audience altogether, who like you for the actual reason why the gallery is liking it.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are not able to explain it, but the front row can explain it. But you ignore them and play only to the gallery.
True.
And you lose a very major cream of your audience.
Yeah. Was there a particular moment in your career, in the film career, when you felt that you have arrived, that this is the performance that establishes me, I know I'm going to rule the Tamil film world?
I always took it with a pinch of salt because as a child, I thought I must be an extraordinary child. I must be a gifted child. And that's because the other people didn't get the same gift as I got. The facility, my family, and the studio, I didn't train anywhere. I knew no art.
Yeah.
But I was already an artist. So that is a complacency that went away when I was 7 or 8. When I realized there are many, many more talented children who could have eaten me for breakfast. And that's when I panicked, because I worked in from cinema, I don't know whether to call it graduation or experience or immersion. I went to theater from cinema. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So that's where I met other talented people. And first I suffered inferiority complex, and then they accepted me. And that's when I realized I have to keep learning more. That's when I started learning all sorts of things in a hurry, not focusing. I learned Veena, I learned music, and then I realized it's something you'll have to focus on. I took up dancing.
And that was Bharatnatyam at first.
Bharatnatyam.
And then Kuchipudi later.
Kuchipudi.
And then Kathak later.
One gentleman from Kolhapur, he became my guru. His name was Kulkarni.
Okay.
So he came. And they all came and stayed in our house.
Right.
So that was most beautiful period of my life.
And you displayed those dancing talents in Sagar Sangamam, which was one of the best movies in your career.
Yeah, I rarely do have favorites. I move away from, but certain movies stay with you.
Right.
And one of them is Sagar Sangamam.
What about Nayagan?
Nayagan also.
Yeah.
Nayagan. But I've done 230 films. I can nod my head only for a dozen movies.
That's remarkable. Even dozen successes is quite a lot. So Nayagan was with...
No, some of them were not successful. That doesn't matter.
Of course. So Nayagan was with Mani Ratnam. It was in 1987.
87.
And you're making a movie again with him after 30 years. Thug Life, which is about to be launched. Why this hiatus? I mean, two of the greatest movie people and a third person, A.R. Rahman, the third greatest person in...
Yeah, he came in later because he came into the industry after Nayagan.
Yes.
So he was not part of this trio then.
Yeah.
But I think it was our mistake. First, we wanted to be... we were apprehensive about how this will turn out and how eyes were all on us. We were scared. I thought, let them forget Nayagan and then we'll make another film. And they refused to forget Nayagan.
Yes.
That's how it got delayed. I think one of the reasons it got delayed.
Okay, that was the only reason?
I think we were thinking of this, and then we both had our own companies. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So I think we got carried away. We kept talking about doing a film or something like that. Either I would come up with a subject and he'll already be working on something similar. So why don't we do that? He says, I've already started shooting.
Yeah.
So I'll go back and make my movie and you'll...
Yeah. I heard the songs this morning, both Tamil and Hindi, are very nice. Rahman, as usual, has excelled.
But Rahman has brought so much nostalgia into this music.
Correct. Yeah. You wrote the song.
One song in Tamil.
Yeah. So you got three really, powerful personalities involved in this movie. Mani Ratnam, you, and A.R. Rahman. There would have been creative differences while making the movie. So who gets the final say? Who got the final say?
It's a we'll have to set the rules of the game, and since we are friends, we can set it anytime. We set it about 44 years back when we were friends. So whenever the game starts, we had the rules written down. And we are the kind of friends who, if there is an emergency and he wants something done, we have not yet done it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that if I ask him to take care of one part of my movie, he would do it for me.
Right, right.
That's how easy we are.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the set, people think these guys must have previously rehearsed or they must have spoken, because they just make sign languages and they were wondering what was happening. They have a code or something. It's simply good understanding. So a crinkle of an eye with a frown would mean one more. That's all we understand.
Yeah.
When he says, okay, and he walks out, it means it's truly okay.
Okay.
Because he's in a hurry to take the next shot.
Yeah.
We understand that, and we've been there. And it's not that we have not been meeting and talking movies.
Yeah.
We do that quite often.
You have said K. Balachandar was your guru, in a way.
And strangely, Mani Ratnam is a fan of Mr. Balachandar. I'm sure if he had the opportunity, he would have worked with him. It didn't happen. He then decided to work without any of the usual route. Let me find my own path. And he found his own path.
Yeah. How would you compare the two? I mean, I know comparisons are obvious,
There's no comparison, because that man worked, Mr. Balachandar Saab, he worked in a more difficult times than us.
Yeah.
Technology was not as easily available.
Yeah.
The market was not conducive for intelligent cinema at all. And he made, and I've worked 36 films with him. And that's a lot of experience.
Sure. Now, Thug Life is about to be launched.
June 5th.
June 5th is the release date.
So we're not too far away from it.
So the expectations from the public are huge, obviously, and you are riding that wave of expectations. Are there butterflies in your stomach?
No, those butterflies have gone to collect honey. Because they used to be there, but we let them fly. And now they're there, but when we are challenged, the butterflies come back.
Well, I'm sure it'll do well. All the best for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Because we believe truly that we have done our best.
Yeah. If there's one artist or a filmmaker in India whose name is synonymous with experimentation or with daring to do something different, it is Kamal Hassan. You have made movies like, Apu or Chachi 420 and Pushpak, a completely silent movie. So you have gone where no man had dared before. I mean, you have experimented, right? All this experimentation would have been a producer's nightmare, right? And you were the producer yourself in many cases. So were you your own nightmare?
No. Mares, horses, we get all of them in our dreams. We must learn to ride them. But my thing is that I had precedents. When you say that, it looks like I'm an extraordinary human being, but my company is named after Raj Kamal Kalamandir.
True.
Mr. Shantaram did everything I did and a little more. So, and my mentor, Mr. Balachandar, did so many things. He was a great actor, but I think he sacrificed that career to be a director. And once I said somewhere in an interview, and later I emulate a lot of my elders, but certain times you're surprised that you said the same thing as them. And that was like getting a degree. I threw up my hat and celebrated. Yeah. When I later on read Yusuf Saab, that is Dilip Kumar Saab, saying that he's a reluctant actor. I've said it before, and I can't claim that it is my statement. I was so happy that we are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
He didn't, and so was I. It was Mr. Balachandar who said there is fortune waiting for you there. You can always direct. I believe that you're ready for that, but don't go there because let the actor finance your director, and that's what I'm doing.
Do actors make better directors?
No, not necessarily. Unless you passionate people make better things than what they are actually. If you really do something because of income only, the best of you doesn't come out.
True. You have often blurred the lines between a performer and a provocateur. You provoke with your movies. So at what point does a role stop becoming being just a character and it becomes personal?
Most of my films, all my characters have a lot of me in it.
Sagar Sangam is
a lot of me. And that is the reason why I, as a cinema buff, found too much of me being repeated. That's why I changed my faces. That Bahurup is because of that.
Sometimes literally in Dashavtaram.
Literally.
And Indian.
But I feel that after some time, honest actors they don't hide the fact of their personality creeping into the character. Because now it has become acting has been taught to many people as just behave. Don't act. And people, good actors like Ben Kingsley and all, they say, do acting for auditions. Because you only have to satisfy the director.
Right.
But once the camera is on, the real camera is on, don't act. Because you've already backed the role, then become the character. Because the camera seeks only the character. It's not looking for a star.
So how much preparation do you do into a character's...
Someone asked me about preparation when I was directing Hey Ram.
Okay.
And they sort of quoted a parallel of how much research went into the making of Gandhi by Ben Kingsley. They said he has been researching it for 3 years. So what is research? Getting to know what it is. He's not going to invent penicillin. But that way, if you ask me, my research is as old as I am. Because Gandhi is in me, in my rupee note, in my school books. So I don't have to research him. I'll have to look at him with equipoise, with great balance, and not be tilted by... He's a man. That's why I never address him as Mahatma. He can be my Bapuji, but never a Mahatma. I will never let him go out of my reach.
That's very profound. You went to the US recently to do a course in AI.
I humbled myself going there because it's not something... I've been smacked on the nose many times like this. I thought I know one thing that I can do the other easily because it comes easily. Like simple thing as a percussion instrument, I used to play the mridangam. So they wanted me to play the traditional towel for a film. I said, yeah, just a week before the film. And I'll do it because I'm a percussionist, I said. But then when they brought the thing, they were touching me on the right and I was looking at the left. I was so confused. And that's the same thing with the technology. We can't be complacent. And we are capable. We are the largest film producing
nation in the world.
And for which we have to invest back into the business. That's what I am doing. All of them. And I'm one of those guys who have been from... I'm not whining, I'm demanding my rights. We want people and the government to be as kind as they are to cricket, to the industry. Then we can do a lot more. More academies. Are we not showing great results because many people are taught the proper way to play cricket? And even neglected hockey is rearing its head back again. And all our sports are slowly rising because we have enough. And we don't have to beat our chest defeating a 200 million population country with a 1.4 billion population. You'll find so much talent in India. So we can't be bragging about what we have. That's what you call quantity. Now we must seek quality.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great point. So you're saying that just the way we encourage nurtured cricket and produce great players,
Yes.
the same way we should also nurture filmmaking,
Yes.
produce more quality films. Also because it's a soft power. This is the way to...
Not only soft power. See, there has not cricket reduced the tension between countries.
Yes.
It simply says that this seems to work. I mean, we are happy people. We get aggressive because it's sport. Can't we stay like that? The rest of the industries will be the thought that will slowly creep in. The art can do that. Sports can do that.
Yeah. After all, movies do carry a cultural power.
Yes.
Look at Hollywood. All of us emulate so many things that we have imbibed from Hollywood.
Yes.
And the same way, Indian film also is impactful in many countries.
Yeah.
But it could be much more.
Much more.
Yeah.
See, you need not fear ethnicity. Because, they won't like it. The more ethnic you are, the more international you'll become.
Right. Is this because we have an inferiority complex?
No, we think we will pander to the market. That's why I say you miss the frontline audience.
Right.
And you're looking at overseas.
Yeah.
Our audience are here. Just because they are captive, we can't treat them like slaves. Give them enough space to think like intellectuals that they are.
Sure. Speaking of Hollywood, there was recently this strike among scriptwriters, by the scriptwriters, against AI. Should artists be scared of AI, or is it going to change anything?
It's a very Luddite position to take.
Yeah.
And I'm not challenging, but I think they can't prove me wrong. I think so. But then I am open-minded, and accepting my mistakes is the only way to move forward. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll have to treat it like the computer revolution.
Okay.
It did speed up the thing. AI is going to speed up your work, my work. It's going to speed up psychology, psychotherapy, medicine. See, if you could work from the top, it'll start working better. For the general physician will have less work to do if you take care of the mind.
Correct. If the Luddites had stopped the Industrial Revolution in Manchester, we would not be here today.
That's exactly what I don't want happening. It won't happen because the flood is the tsunami of plethora of information and facilities that AI is going to offer to every vertical.
Just give me some examples of how it will benefit the film industry.
We have a tedious way of scheduling our films. Yes, computers made it faster. Now AI will be your manager. It's another partner that you're getting into, and a trustworthy one.
Allow me to be the devil's advocate for a moment. Suppose the AI starts writing scripts, because it's very easy for AI to be creative. It learns from past experiences. There is some real fear among scriptwriters that they would be out of jobs?
I think art is so compassionate, and if the artist imbibes the same from the art itself, then you'll find the tools and virtues of modern art will still respect the art and the cave.
Yeah. You got an astoundingly modern outlook to very, future-looking outlook to filmmaking and to life. Suppose we were in 2075 and a student pulls out a cinema history book on Kamal Hassan. What would be the one sentence that you hope is written in that book about you?
Oh, I hope they remember my name, because they'll confuse me for some other guy, and I will take his credit for no reason at all. After some time, people vaguely say, who did that film? Was it Buster Keaton or Chaplin? That's when I realized that's going to happen to me. Or was it the other? Who was the third genius in comedy? So there were three geniuses, fine. And then what about the other guy with the big nose? I forget his name. He was also good. And then Jerry Lewis, no, he came. I'm going to be lost in that crowd. And I'm happy to be, as long as someone with a microscope is looking for me and still finds me, I'm happy.
But suppose it says that Kamal Hassan was a multifaceted performer, multifaceted filmmaker. Would that please you?
I'll have tomorrow's generation smiling condescendingly. We do it all the time. What's a big deal?
Yeah. You very early on in your career recognized the value of cinema that transcends regions, and even before Pan India became a buzzword, you were.
I saw Chaplin working in my native place as an artist.
Yeah,
he works in Paramakudi. He works in another village called Hollywood.
Yeah,
it was a village when they started. He works there, and he's able to permeate all the way down to Cape Comorin.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is power of cinema.
Yeah.
If you know how to use it.
Did you know that Ek Duje Ke Liye actually spawned a wave of elopements of couples in the north?
I'm anti-casteist.
Yeah.
So I think one apolitical way of doing away with caste is love marriages.
And you encourage that?
I want love to win over caste.
Right.
So you leave it to the teens and they will do the work, the field work for you.
Unlike Bobby, which was more of a teen love, Ek Duje Ke Liye was a
little
mature...
That's all. It was almost the same number of years it took to make. That's my age. But there's a darker side to that.
Yeah.
That's why I feel that we'll have to make cinema very responsive. Even if you show violence, you must not excite them with it like the Circus Maximus. Let them not become, because we are the children of Circus Maximus, the extension and finer, not so crude version of the Circus Maximus. So that's how I think of it. Hollywood is a big Circus Maximus.
Yeah.
So, and now sports, they've separated it.
Yeah. Marudan Nayagam, if you remember, this was a project which was launched with great fanfare. The Queen Elizabeth came,
England,
and you were there on the stage. You got down, went and greeted her and all that. But the movie never took off. What happened? Why?
No, my financiers from America, Buddha smiled.
Yeah, the nuclear test.
Buddha smiled on me. A mate of mine smiled from 2000 years across. This was another smile, that's another smile.
But now you have the money, you don't need the financial.
Yeah, but now that's about 20 years back.
Yeah.
So...
Did you also want to do a biopic on Dilip Kumar? You're a big fan of Dilip.
No, I wanted to do one of my films with him. By the time he had retired, I was enticing him. I was doing all the dance in front of him. I brought him to give us the Silver Jubilee Award for Tevar Magan. I wanted to do it with him in Hindi. But by the time I said, you direct a film and I'll be your assistant. But please act in my movie.
Yeah.
But by the time he had made up his mind firmly. And so I gave it away. I didn't want to act in the Hindi version if he's not doing it.
South traditionally has produced more actor politicians, in the sense successful ones. What is the reason why it is, NTR was a success, MGR was a success,
Let me talk about my state because I'm more qualified, a little more data I have from my state than about that. But both the states were living together, almost cinema-wise.
Yeah.
They were housed in one colony, which was Chennai.
Yeah.
So when you talk about this, you're talking also about that industry. Even Malayalam was there. Kannada was in Chennai. So we are talking about the South industry, but the predominant industry at that time was the Tamil industry.
Okay.
So most of the artists during pre-independence went behind Bapuji. And they thought we have done our duty, and post-independent, they'll get their due and they'll be respected. They were not. Because more educated, more affluent people became the leaders there. So they were disappointed. They wanted to be part of it. And so they all came and they looked around and they found Periyar. And then DMK began. Then even MGR from Khadi, he became white-shirted DMK man. And both Shivaji and Mr. MGR were in the same party. And they've done soapbox oratory to collect funds for DMK. That's how small they started.
I see.
Mr. Karunanidhi will take this magazine, which is now a big institution, on his cycle and
distribute it. And Jayalalitha simply took on the mantle from MGR, of course. Jayalalitha.
That was later, but the building of the party was done by everyone, including Shivaji. Then when Shivaji Sahib wanted more space, he thought, this is where I actually belong. And he was more of a spiritually inclined person, so he found it, might have found it a little claustrophobic there. And that accent was very high at the time, because they had to come into power with their agendas. They had, and they had to talk that way.
How would you personally define success today compared to how you would have defined it 30 years ago? I know you gave an indication that at that time money was the avarice was the motivation. So how would you define success?
When was money not the motivation? I think it'll take a long time. Even Bitcoin won't change that.
So how would you define success today?
I think I'm fortunate to be here now. I have a bigger demography to reach out to, which great actors like Shivaji Sahib and Dilip Kumar did not have. They were no way less than anybody you could spawn now, in future or now. But they didn't have all that. We are being now paid 200 times what they've been paid. So, and even the average wages I can say all this because I pay my taxes. So, no, but the average wages is, we are doing better. If you look at numbers, of course, the rupee versus dollar, you don't compare because it's not a fair comparison at all. But our average wage has increased as compared to America, I think. From $4, they've gone to $7.
In this room, I had interviewed Jammu Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, and he had said that he would love to attract the South film industry to Kashmir, not the North, but the South industry. And people think that Roja was shot in Kashmir, but it was not. It was shot in. It was about Kashmir, but it was shot in Himachal Pradesh. Would you want to do a film in?
Of course, I've done it. I've done. Abhay was done in Kashmir. And few of my films have been shot. In my latest production, where I didn't act, but it's a big hit called Amaran, was totally shot in Kashmir. About a few months. How long ago was that? Amaran was 6 months back.
Okay.
6 months.
Okay.
6 months.
After the Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor, Kashmir has become sort of a no-go zone for most Indians. Would you want to encourage tourism in Kashmir by announcing that you want to make a film in Kashmir?
You can, but in a critical moment like that, we postponed even our celebrations. We didn't resume Thug Life thing till we got a signal from our government and the army. We were waiting for that because we can't be celebrating while our boys are dying there.
True.
So that's my first feeling. I said, art can come later. That's what I thought. And now I think it's wrong to do something like this might irritate even the localites, leave alone the other side.
Yeah.
I look at it as the other side.
Sure.
Other side of our Himalaya. One particular angle you look at it. I mean, I think maybe not now, but I will. I will go there because it's my place also.
Yes. Yes.
I was promised that from Kanyakumari to Kashmir is my home.
Yeah.
And I still do believe it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I've got a sort of a flippant question. What is more challenging, surviving the Tamil film industry or surviving a debate on WhatsApp with your family members?
Surviving?
The Tamil film industry versus surviving a WhatsApp debate with your family members. Because, you know, the WhatsApp ecosystem has become so toxic. Everyone has an opinion and then people leave WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, but...
you don't have that problem?
I don't really, because I've seen Gandhi ji handle much worse. I'm not talking about the bullet at all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how many times they've insulted him. Right? It's there in part of, as a part of Hey Ram. This actually happened. 8 days before he died, somebody walks up to him, why don't you, people from Bannu were literally damaged goods. They came and they were very angry with Gandhiji because they held him responsible for all the massacres. And then they told him, he said, I'm going to walk to Pakistan. They say, why don't you go to Himalayas? Why Himalayas? And they say that all old people go there to die. And he said, then this is my Himalayas. That's there as a part of my movie. Yes. And those things affect me a lot. And I think Gandhi should be imitable. That's why I don't make him a Mahatma.
I've got a serious question now. Have you ever cried while watching your own scene? I know I have. I know exactly which movies I've cried at. But have you also ever?
Watch my movie?
Watched your movies and cried on a particular scene, for a particular scene?
It's a public confession. Yes, I do. Because it doesn't matter whether it's Kamal Hassan or any other actor. The scene is pertinent and touches me. And though there are films like that, that'll make you cry after 40 years, 50 years.
Nagan, after his son's body is brought and then he screams and clutches his heart.
Yes. That hits me even now. And Sagar Sangam, when he sees the invitation, and the last dialogue when he talks to his audience.
On the wheelchair, sitting on the
wheelchair. To an audience to whom he has not performed at all.
And he's performing vicariously through
his students. So the short synopsis of the story is a great artist who never performed.
How many times have you watched the movie?
Every film of ours we'll have to watch at least
of course
50, 60 times. But if you're directing it, maybe another 60 times. So all my movies I watch. I always equate myself to the old woman Shabari in Rahman, who doesn't worry about sanitation and other. He bites the fruit and gives it to Ram. So I'm like that.
Yeah. Where you don't look your age, of course. Where does this energy come from? And have you ever thought that, okay, I have achieved so much, let me take a back seat?
Oh, that age will tell me. Achievements won't. May not even convince you. Age will convince you. It's yet to convince me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kamal Hassan.
Thank you.